stack stands for? The MERN stack stands for the MongoDB, Express.js, React.js, as well as the Node.js. Alright, so here we are going to use 4 tech stacks. For the database, we are going to use the MongoDB, which is a NoSQL database. And after that, for the backend, we are going to use the Express.js, which will be again written in JavaScript only. And after that, we are going to develop the front end with the help of React.js. We are going to write the entire front end in the JavaScript only. After that comes the Node.js. As I have said that the Node.js is nothing but a runtime environment. So if we want to work with the MERN stack, what is the first requirement that we need to have? We need to install the Node.js runtime environment in our respective PCs and laptops. So now let's move through a quick presentation which will say what are the prerequisites and why do we use the MERN stack, what are the advantages and what are the limitations of using the MERN stack, and all those things. So till now, are there any questions with you people that you want me to ask in the beginning of the session? Is there anything regarding which tech stack and all these things? Any questions with you people? Okay, I assume there are no questions with you people that you want to ask. Let's move ahead with our presentation. So over here, you can see that definition and importance of the client-server architecture. For those who already know about the client-server architecture, can anyone explain me what do they mean by the client-server architecture? Any idea about the client-server architecture? Anything regarding request, response, etc.? Guys, come on. When you are present inside the session, then you people are required to interact inside the session. Milandeep, you have switched your mic on, but you are not properly audible, dear.
Client is basically the computer which sends the request to the server, which holds all the code of the website, which is the server. So client is the front end which sends the request to the server, and the server is the computer where all the code of the website is hosted. Okay. And server then parse the request and finds the file which is client is asking for, and in return sends that file back to the client and the response.
All right, Milandeep, you are correct. Over here, what are we going to learn? As Milandeep has said, that the server passes the request. Now, what does Milandeep actually mean by parses the request? We, as the client, what do? We send requests to the servers. All right. And that servers has certain kind of APIs. The API stands for Application Programming Interface. And the API are nothing but a set of functions or codes that we develop as the developers using different kind of languages. Let it be Java, Spring Boot. Using the Spring Boot framework, using the Spring Boot framework, we write codes in Java. But here we are using the Express.js framework, for which we are going to write the API logics in JavaScript. So this is how we develop the APIs, which helps us in order to filter the data as per the user's requirement. So now you will tell me, ma'am, what can you provide us a case study where we are going to use these APIs in order to get whichever data that we require from the server? So we do this in our day-to-day lives. So one of the case study is the login and registration, isn't it? So what happens whenever you are registering yourself in a particular website? All right, those who have raised their hands, just please lower your hands down. So whenever we visit a website for the first time, what do? We just register ourselves in that particular website. And the number of times we are going to visit that website again and again, at that time, do we register ourselves again? Do we register multiple times?
No.
No, ma'am.
We do not register multiple times, isn't it? Why? Because the data which we have provided to that particular website at the time of registration gets stored inside the database. All right. And whenever we try to log in with our credentials, that is our email ID as well as the password. Nowadays, there is no more credentials that we provide. Uh, we select our Google account that we want to use in order to log in. And after that, we move directly inside the website. So that is a part of open authentication. But here, when we are providing our credentials manually, at that time, what happens? Our email ID and password, which is stored inside the database, is compared to the email ID and password which we are providing at the time of logging in, isn't it? That is how the comparison of data takes place with the help of the backend APIs, which we call the REST API. And what does the REST API stand for? The REST API stands for the Representational State Transfer API. Am I clear till this part? How does the backend uh, filters the request and processes the request made by the client and sends back the data? Am I clear till this part? Any doubt till here? I'm just providing you people a brief description about what we are going to do. But now you are going to learn all these concepts and you will get all these concepts clear in your head when you are going to implement them. When we will work with the back end and we will work with the front end, and then we are going to connect both of them. All right. So this is how the entire backend and front end works. After that, after filtering our request, that is taking our credentials, email ID and password from us, what does the client do? The client compares. This comparison is done with the help of API only. So this is how the backend performs the logic with the data that we provide as the users. And then it filters the data which the backend has fetched from the database, depending upon which specific data do we want from the server. So this is how the client-server communication works. Client sends the request, server processes the request, fetches the data from the database, and then provides the required data to the client. Am I clear to those who do not have any kind of idea about client-server architecture? Is the whole scenario clear in their mind?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So here we can see that here are the prerequisites for merge stack. That is the Node.js as well as JavaScript. So here people need to learn JavaScript's concepts like the promise API as well as the dot then and dot cache methods. After that, you people need to have the strong knowledge about the functions that we use in JavaScript. After that, what is the most important thing that people need to have is the different predefined functions related to the data types. Now, what are the data types? The arrays as well as the objects. Because inside this one stack, we will be using arrays and objects in the for a very we are going to use it frequently. So you need to learn what kind of inbuilt method do the data types have, and where do we have to use them according to our requirement. So having these knowledge is enough when you are working with non-stack. Coming on to the Node.js. Node.js, as I have told, is the runtime environment which allows JavaScript to run on the server side. Now coming on to the NPM. So people might have come across the term manager, isn't it? In somewhere or the other, you people have discovered the term manager. What do you mean by that? Any idea in your head that you get while you speak the term manager? For what jobs the manager is responsible, etc. Can anyone tell me?
The one who supervises everything.
And what else does the manager do?
Which keeps the records of performances and everything about the every employee performances and everything about the record of every employee.
Okay. So in your colleges, when you were sitting for the placements, at that time, who was the person who tries to hire the same
The hiring manager.
hiring manager, isn't it? So there are different kind of managers who are responsible for the hiring as well as to fire the employees as well as keeping the track of their entire progress inside the company, isn't it? So that is the same thing that we are going to study over here about the NPM. The NPM stands for Node Package Manager. All right. So whenever we are working with the backend and front end in our project, at that time, we need to install certain dependencies. And now what do we mean by the dependencies? So you can say that the dependencies are those things which provides us certain built-in methods. Say for example, if you want to connect your backend to the database, can anyone tell me how many of you have even a small experience of working with the backend and database? Database like you can also speak MySQL also. Okay, Milandeep. Yeah, Milandeep work with the database with the help of backend. Milandeep, are you there?
Sorry, your voice break. There was some network issue. Can you please repeat the question?
I was asking, how did you work with the backend and the database? How did you actually do that? Can you share
I
your
have worked.
experience?
Yeah, I have worked with Mongoose in two ways, like Mongoose Atlas. So there is a connection string. So we have connected using mongoose.connect and passed the connection string like that.
All right, great. So, as Milandeep has said that we need Mongoose in order to connect our database with the Node.js. So, Mongoose again is a kind of dependency that we need to install in our backend file so that Mongoose dependency provides us with certain built-in methods. And what are those methods? Those methods are dot connect method, which enables us in order to connect our Node.js with the MongoDB. All right. After that, the MongoDB also provides us certain methods through which we can perform the CRUD operations. Now, what do I mean by the CRUD operation? Say, for example, you are creating a management system for a company, right? And that management system manages all the employees' records as well as their details, all those things. All right. Now, those records has to be revised in a regular basis of time, depending upon how many employees are inside that company and how many employees uh, are being fired from that company. So at that time, what do you need to have? Those employees who have been fired from that company, you do not need their databases. You do not need their data in your databases, isn't it? So at that time, what do? You just delete their database. And a second scenario where where an employee of a particular company gets a hike in his salary. At that, you need to showcase or yeah, you need to showcase that kind of hike in your database. So what do? You just update the existing data of that particular employee. Am I making sense over here? What kind of features can you add in your backend? Are the features clear to you people? Any kind of confusion about the
No.
scenarios?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Based on these scenarios, there are certain CRUD operations. What do we mean by the CRUD operation? The CRUD operation stands for create, read, update, and delete. So, in whichever website we go, say for example, Flipkart or Amazon, what do? We see a product, and if we like that, we add that to our cart. So, what are we doing? We are making or we are creating a new product inside our cart, isn't it? So that is what we are doing. We are creating a new product, and then when we move to our cart page, at that time, we are seeing what all products are present inside our cart. So that is what we call, that is reading of the data. All right. And if you want to add one more product, not in add one more product inside the cart, as in you want to increase the quantity of an existing product. At that time, what are you doing? You are just updating the data, right? And then if you want to remove something from the cart, at that time you perform the delete operation. Am I clear till this part? How are we going to implement the CRUD operation in our backend, the scenarios, etc.?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Clear.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So for the CRUD operations, we are having different HTTP methods. So is there any idea with you people about what the HTTP methods are? Any idea with you people?
Ma'am, is that is get, put, post, delete, like that, update?
Exactly. The HTTP methods that we are going to use in order to test our CRUD that our REST APIs in our backend are the get request for the read request. All right, get method for the read request. After that, we are going to use the post method for the create request. Then comes the put method for the update request. After that, the delete method for the delete request. So these are the 4 methods that we are going to use when we are creating a particular REST API. Am I clear till this part about the CRUD operations and the REST API?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, can you
Yes,
please
ma'am.
repeat about the 4 methods?
Okay. So I'm repeating again that we are going to use the get method for making a read request. For whichever data we want to read from our database, we are going to make a get request. And how are we going to make that get request? With the help of Postman. So now some of you might be thinking, what is this Postman actually is? So here, take an example, take a scenario as an example. Say for instance, you have created your entire backend. All right. But now you do not have your front end in order to test whether your backend is properly working. The logics that you have built in your backend is properly working. So how are you going to test that? With the help of this Postman only. This Postman is nothing but the testing application. Just a second. This Postman, what do? We just paste our backend URL inside the Postman. And at that, in the interface only, we get a list of HTTP methods. The get method, the post method, the put method, the delete method, etc. Why is it not opening? Can you see the interface over here?
Yes.
Yes.
So the Postman interface looks somewhat like this only. All right. So this is the extension of Postman that I have installed in my VS Code, and the Postman looks exactly like this. So as I have said that there are certain HTTP methods. So over here, if I click on this, you people can see the list of HTTP methods that we have, right? And here we are getting enter the URL or paste text. So in this bar, we are going to provide our URL. And now you might be thinking, in order to log in, take for example, if we are logging something, we provide our credentials, isn't it? So where do we have to provide our credentials? So over here, there lies a body. All right. And inside the body, we have certain radio buttons. So we are going to select this raw tag. And inside this, here, the type of data that we are sending is the JSON type data. So from text, we are going to switch to JSON. And inside the JSON type, we are going to provide our data inside this curly braces. So can anyone tell me, in JavaScript, why do we use this curly braces for what kind of data type?
Object.
Great, Milandip. We use the curly braces in case of the object data type, where we place certain key value pairs inside the object. Now, what do we mean by the key value pairs? So inside the chat box, if I write something like, over here, I will write name, and here I will provide a string, that is Ram. And after that, I will provide age is going to be 20. All right, and then I will close it. So this entire thing is considered as an object. Now, what are the keys over here? The keys are the name and age, and then the values are Ram and 20. First one is the string type, and next one is the integer type. All right. So this is what we call an object in JavaScript. But coming on to the JSON, how does the JSON data look like? Here, if I provide name, which is Ram, after that, age, over here will be 20. And then I will close it. So this is how our JSON data looks like. In our JSON request, the keys and values will both of them be inside the strings only, except the integer. The integer is not going to be present inside the strings whenever we are trying to send the request with the help of Postman. Am I clear till this part?
Yes.
So now did you people get any even a rough idea about the backend? How does the backend process the request, and in which format do we have to send the request if our front end is not ready? Is everything clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now
Yes, ma'am.
moving on to React. What is React this time? React is a framework which was developed by Facebook itself. All right. And in React, what do we do? Let's move to a website, and at that time, providing the data of that website, I will show you. For example, I want to visit Azure. So this is the entire Azure website. All right. So can you people name the different type of things that you people are seeing on the website? Not as in the banner that you people, yeah, banner is again a thing. But what all things can you people see in the website? Anyone?
Buttons,
Wish
the
list
navigation bar.
buttons. Mhm.
Okay. And
Ma'am, it's neighbor.
okay, navbar. After that,
Yeah. Then many components.
okay. As you have described over here, that we are seeing different type of components. That is the exact word that I wanted from you people. Why? Because in React, what do? We divide our entire website into small components. All right. And why do we do that? Say, for example, over here in the landing page of azure.com, we are seeing all these components where the navbar is fixed, but rest of the components are being scrolled, isn't it? So now what I want to go to the men's section. So is the navbar being removed from the entire website, or is there any kind of change in the navbar, or only the components which are present inside the which are present below the navbar or the contents are changing? What is exactly happening? And if I click on women, what exactly is happening?
Ma'am, the URL changes.
Only the contents which are present inside the web page are changing depending upon what options are we selecting, right? This is the main advantage of using the single page applications. What is the advantage? instead of making different HTML pages for different kind of options and linking all of them together, what we are doing, we are just changing the content which are present in a particular website depending upon the user's requirement. Am I correct? And people
Yes,
being
ma'am.
able to understand. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
if I just pay attention to the address bar, so I guess you people know very well what do we call the address bar? That is this part, right? If I am changing something, just pay attention to the address bar. Can you people see any kind of change in the address bar?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the changes?
Ma'am, the
It
address
changes
changes.
with the options you are selecting. Like,
Right? So those things we call API endpoints. Over here, if I want to access whichever data is present inside the men section, so what do we have for that? We have an API endpoint, that is men. Now, why do we have these API endpoints? So there are, as I have said, certain functions that we write in the backend. All right. And how do we execute those functions? With the help of these API endpoints only. If we write a certain API endpoint, there are many functions which are related to that API endpoint. So at the time of making a request, these API endpoints become very necessary for us in order to execute different functions. So now, if I try to click on this sign in, and okay, let's go to Flipkart. Actually. Inside the Flipkart, over here, if we are trying to log in, at that time it should show the API endpoint as login over here. Okay, it has already been logged in. No issues. So whenever we try to register or log in ourselves, at that time, the endpoint over here changes. All right. So depending upon what kind of feature that we want to execute, the endpoint also changes. So we are going to discover all those things. Now, coming back to React. For each and every component, we have different kind of different kind of endpoints, right? And how do we access those endpoints? With the help of the navigation. So now, can anyone tell me if I am moving from one page to another page, what am I actually doing? I'm navigating, right? I'm tracing my routes from one page to another page. With the help of what? With the help of different options which are present in my nav bar. So what will happen if I go to a particular section over here and I want to add a particular product in my cart? Yeah, here is the entire product page, right? And if I click on, see here again, the API endpoint changed. How has it changed? Clicking on a certain product, that name of that product is being reflected on the address bar. Can you people see?
yes, ma'am.
Again, depending upon the user's selection, that is, depending upon my click or my requirement, which data do I want to fetch from the server, it is redirecting me to the same page. As you people can see, the nav bar is still present at the top of the page. Only the content is being changed, isn't it? And here, if I want to add this product to my bag, over here, see I have different products added in my bag. And if I click on proceed to bag, again the data is going to change. Now it is redirecting me to the cart page. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
And then if I click on proceed to shipping, here it is providing me welcome to Azure, and then it is asking me to log in, right? So these are the things that we have to implement in the backend and show them in the front end. Understood what are we going to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is all for today's introduction class. And from the next class onwards, we are going to implement certain developing certain APIs, and we are going to test them in our Postman. All right. And what are you people required to be ready with in the next class? You people need to have, let me write it over here. First one is your VS Code. Install it in your respective laptops. And after that, install Node.js. And then install the Postman. After the Postman, install your MongoDB Compass. And finally, be ready with your MongoDB URI. And these two things, that is your MongoDB URI and MongoDB Compass, you are going to get it from the MongoDB Atlas website. And if you face any kind of difficulty in order to fetch your MongoDB URI, you can also refer to the YouTube videos that we have in YouTube. So if you click on Get Started, and it will again navigate you to the next pages in order to fetch your MongoDB URI. So by the next class, what are you people required to do? Just be ready with all these things that I have said today. Understood? Any doubt till this part? Yeah, Anshul, is there any doubt?
Yeah, I was asking, are there any prerequisites that we have to complete, like to know JavaScript already or something?
Yeah, just do one thing. Visit this website. It's a very famous website. You people might be knowing.
Yeah, I know it, W3 School, right?
Yeah. Go over there and search for JavaScript. And let me provide you all the concepts that you have to learn in order to learn the MERN stack. Just learn these functions, objects, arrays, maps, regular expressions, events, and then coming on to the advanced JavaScript, functions, objects, classes, iteration, asynchronous, HTML DOM, JSON. This much of things will be enough. Understood?
Okay.
Learn events very nicely. Events, arrays, and then objects, functions, strings. After that, again, the asynchronous functions, modules and classes, all these things. And what about the HTML DOM also? Does anyone know about reconciliation? All right, it is going to be too very advanced for you people at this stage. We are going to learn it eventually. All right, is there any doubt? I have already said the prerequisites. Yeah, Anshu.
Are we start from the backend to frontend? Like we are starting learning backend first and then going to
Yeah. We are going to learn the backend first, and then after developing the backend, we will learn the front end.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, any more questions? All right, listen. A few extra instructions for you people is that whenever I teach something inside the class, I'll be asking you people questions in the next class related to the previous session. So what you people are required to do? You people are required to be very thorough with the sessions that you people are being provided inside the group itself. That is the YouTube session links. Or you people need to pay attention inside the class, because each and every question that I'll be asking, you people might face the same questions at the time of your project review, which is going to affect your marks. All right. Also, these type trends, obviously. So I'm going to ask the questions in the next class. And whenever I ask something, it is very necessary for you people to open your minds and answer me with that. Because in that way, I'm going to see how much is your interaction present inside the session. So these two things I had to convey from my sides. And if you have your queries, then you people can ask it, or else you people can leave the meeting. We are winding up the session over there, right? Yeah, Milandeep.
We are going to use Mongoose as well, or directly connect MongoDB with to create.
We'll be doing all those things, Milandeep. Just have a little bit of patience. We'll do all those things in the next class.
Okay.
Yeah, just fetch your MongoDB URI and install the MongoDB Compass in your laptop. Please. Yeah, Anshul. Any query?
Yeah, since I joined the session, late. So can I ask for a introduction from yourself because I don't know you, right?
I'm an Infotact trainer, Anshul, and for you, that much of introduction should be enough, I
Oh,
guess.
okay, no problem. I thought you had given an introduction or something, so that's why I asked. Sorry.
No, I didn't give any introduction.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.